Okay. Hi, everybody. This is Light on Bills episode number, I don't know, 4th of February, 2024. And I'm so excited that my lovely sister, Rosemary, wait, I have to do it like this because I think I have a mirror.
I
And
don't know which side I'm on, but
yeah,
I'm here.
yeah, but then we can't do a high five. But anyhow, also we have to do our ponytail ritual. Okay, so we should do it the opposite way because, well, I do it over my left ear, I guess because I'm
Oh,
right-handed. So over, you see what I mean? You can kind of,
do
it
you have a
depends on your
brush?
settings.
Oh,
Well, my rubber bands are all tied to my brush, so that's why. But I promise I'm not going to use it because I never do.
'cause my hair is wet and kind of not very cooperative.
Okay, well,
But let's
you
see
know,
what we can do.
it's like licking the cowlick. Doesn't the water make it a little more cooperative?
My
I
hair
don't
is
know.
never cooperative.
It does depend. Okay. Yeah, we cannot have our conversation until we have the ponytail. And mine looks different every time. It's down here, it's up here. Sometimes I braid it. It's become a tradition in all of whatever, 1 week. What has it been? Two. I guess this is the second week.
Weeks.
It's the second week I've been doing it. Mine's so fluffy because I washed yesterday. So
Ooh, you've got thick hair.
pretty thick, but it feels like it's getting thinner, actually. I think it's that the gray probably is thinning it out. It's like gray hair is thick, but there's less of it, I think. So I'm like, is this a blessing or is it a curse? I really don't know. Grass is always greener. So
Mm,
good
I
that we
don't
got these most important conversations out of the way, right? Yeah.
know.
I don't know what. What do you want to wait? First, let's showcase your t-shirt again.
Oh, yes, my t-shirt, which was one of these Instagram, Facebook, hold on.
That setting that you,
Finds
yeah, they got to do that. Wow. It's so
1990 through 93.
cute. I didn't even know you had that. That's so cool.
I just got it.
Oh, you just got it. Okay.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
felt like I don't know. I got this right before the game with the Steelers because I
Okay.
was feeling good and I
Uh-huh.
thought maybe again this year. But
Mm. Well, you're one for one in that shirt because that's the thing, right? It's like, oh, my lucky shirt. When we win, it's like, oh, this is my lucky. I have to wear this. Like before I ask you about what your favorite gear is, I want to ask that. I
Hmm.
forgot to ask when Gabriella was on the podcast last week. I forgot to ask her about rituals and superstitions because I think that is like, right? That's a whole thing to unpack. Like, do you have any rituals about the bills? Like,
I kind of do. Well, if I'm home, then I order pizza and wings, and it's got to be, hot wings with blue cheese, of course. My lovely co-host here today got me this Dawson Knox, like what do you call it? Like a votive candle or
votive candle,
something?
yeah, or yeah, whatever.
Like a
And
saint's candle. It's like Dawson Knox as a saint.
yeah, yeah.
It still has some life in it. So I try to remember to light that for the games.
Mm,
I usually wear my Josh Allen jersey
yes,
for
you do.
games.
At
Yeah.
least as of this year, right? Because last year was
Yeah. Last year I didn't have that.
you had your Singletary jersey,
I
which is
had a Singletary jersey and I had the Allen Player t-shirt, which I
right.
still wear all the time. Like I wear my Bills stuff all the time, no matter
I
what.
don't get that. That's a whole conversation on Twitter right now. Like,
Yes.
so when will you start wearing your Bills gear again? I'm like,
I never
wait,
stop.
is there a, sell by date for Bills gear? Like, no, right? No.
Absolutely
What the
not.
heck? Also, here, but a more probing question, I think, is when do we start saying "Go Bills" again, because that's a little more awkward. Like you're in this vacuum where they're like not playing anymore. On the other hand, it is like our universal greeting, right? Like I always equate it with aloha and ciao, right?
Mm.
It's universal greeting when you see someone, when you say goodbye, mostly when you say goodbye. But why not when you say hi also? Well, yeah, strangers, right? So that you don't even know. If you
Well,
know,
yeah, I mean, if someone sees me out wearing my hat, one of my hats or something, they'll say "Go Bills."
yeah.
That never stops.
Yeah. Except so I'm saying like right now, because during the season you get that whole right, go
Yeah.
Bills. We're like we're working towards this and we believe in all that. And now that they're out of the playoffs, is like this lull. It's a really weird because if you say go Bills, it's
Go
automatically like,
Bills.
yeah, but they're not in the playoffs anymore. And we still want to express our loyalty, right? And just that it's a default thing. So
Yeah.
how do you feel about that?
I think we should just sign off all family chats and calls with the "Love you, go Bills."
Which we do anyway.
Which
But no,
we
actually,
do most like 90% of the time.
frankly, I censored myself the other day. And I was like, I'm not going to say go Bills because they're not any longer playing. And then that's what triggered this whole like internal dialogue about that. Like, when is it? Why am I feeling awkward about that?
Yeah, you shouldn't have to censor yourself.
Oh no, absolutely not.
Our love for the
Never.
Bills is eternal,
Or but about anything. Like shouldn't.
but especially not about the Bills.
And by the way, I think it was when we were traveling down to see our lovely sister Michelle at Christmas that I got a fortune cookie, or it's something. I don't remember which of the like divine messages that, which channel it came in on, but it was about exactly this, about me. So it was a message to me to in this year be using my voice and to be fearless about it. So that has really, I mean, also like, stuff we were talking about before we started this call, but like everything, like in my social media channels, and some of it you're like, if they don't really know you, this might not land correctly, because if you're saying something tongue in cheek or ironic, and it's like, I don't even know this person. She's saying what, But I'm kind of like, if I'm on the fence about these things now, I just cross the fence. Like, I just say, fuck it, I'm gonna like get my voice out there.
Yeah. And the ones who are meant to hear it will stick with you, and the ones who it's not for will fall to the side. And
Well, that's a good point. Also, I think like sometimes, and I find especially, I gotta say, in conversations among genders, shall we say, with representation across genders, that these conversations go a lot faster and the triggering happens. At least what I say, or it just goes faster, deeper, like rah, 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 and then escalates.
escalates. Yeah.
And you kind of get over that, God, I don't really know you curve faster. And then you come to an understanding faster as well. Like,
Mm.
oh, okay. Oh, she's actually okay. Oh, that point came from this and this perspective, which is often, people like ID you as a woman, and then the conversation shifts, of course, from what you're saying to who is saying it, right?
Hmm.
Got to get over that whole hurdle. And
So
then
true.
it's so annoying. I think I told you about last year that campaign in the UK where like famous athletes of the opposite gender, well, let's just say, a man and a woman, switch Twitter accounts for a week
Hmm.
and then they talk about it, like talk about what they went through. It's very, very cool, very eye-opening. Yeah. Um,
Wow.
yeah, I mean, what the hell though? like, and it's systemic because, of course, all these platforms are owned and run by men. So you don't get the like insight from the top that's going to start to curb that behavior,
Right.
pull it out and sanction it because
Or,
it's kind
yeah, or
of,
even just let people know, hey, this is slanted,
yeah.
this
Or
is
like,
not fair
yeah,
conversation.
I mean, and you can, but that technique is also being used against you, by the way, right? It's the equivalent of swatting online. It's like to just call out your own. I mean, has that ever happened to you? Like that people call
Mm.
or report on something you post?
No, not that I know of.
Me neither. But it's about to. No. Just because hello, today I got
Have you gotten reported on this?
no, but I'm saying it's about to because I'm gonna show you why. Wait. Um, because
Are you gonna
this
get into some
came-
X-Files type shit right now?
I'm so glad that you do what you do. Um, and this, okay, my husband is also a cybersecurity expert, but does that matter? No, because I want to talk about something like we had a conflagration yesterday that I want to tell you about. But first, I want to share this because um, this was one of my, let me see. Okay, here we go. So yes, I use Facebook. Like I know it's so old school, but this is something I really love. Can you see this,
Oh
Rose?
yeah. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
It's
I
coming
really
through.
love this whole cultural aspect of, of women's bodies. We're obviously, it's also obviously public property, right?
Mm-hmm.
But this was, I shouldn't be showing this because you can see other people's names, but I'm going to only show you the thing that I shared. It was 4 years ago today that I shared this. You're gonna appreciate it, and it is central to the topic. Booyah. Hold on.
You said booyah.
I'm warning. This will be triggering for you as it was for me.
Uh-oh.
Okay, so I'm
Let
warning
me just
everyone.
prepare myself.
Ready? I know, right? I'm gonna take it down, like right now.
Ah!
I know.
Why does
I
it look like
know,
a
Rosie.
pole is coming out of her? Like, that's terrible.
Well, hold on.
Oh,
Oh, also look at the guys' faces as well, because that was one of the comments.
like this lady is standing on me with these high heels.
Like loving this. Uh, is
Oh,
is
she
this
was just on SNL last night.
did she talk about this? Because seriously,
No,
or was she
no,
trying
but
to?
she did pretty good. She did
She was
like her first number
literally
was like a big dancey number, and then her second one was she didn't dance at all, and it was like more of her singing
okay,
highlighted.
but oh, so she was on as a musical guest.
Yeah, as a musical guest.
She
Yeah.
wasn't like the star, or whatever
Mm-mm, the
the,
host.
the
Mm-mm.
host. Like why not? Well, maybe she herself was feeling like I've got to up the Super Bowl halftime show appearance with something falling around the same date, right?
Mhm. Like,
how do
hey,
I
remember me?
how do I one woman up myself, right? But that is very hard to one up to
Yeah.
top. Am I right?
Yeah.
And I don't know, Rosie, did you actually see that halftime performance? Did you
Yeah,
see
I
it?
remember that one. J-Lo and Shakira together, the silver and the gold
Right.
outfits.
That was
Hell yeah.
and
They
her
killed it.
13-year-old daughter.
Mm-hmm.
I was like,
Choice.
wait, do I need to take my children out of the room right now? Because this is full frontal beaver territory, you know? No, really, and I'm like, I'm about as open-minded as they come. So I was like, my reaction was seriously like, at what point of women's stardom do you say no to this?
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I wonder if it was even her idea or like whose idea it was.
Yes, hello, because internalized misogyny. Like, oh, I've got to do this to remain relevant in the
Hmm.
patriarchy. And then, well, thankfully
Well, and
though,
there's a lot of ageism probably wrapped up in that too, to show like I'm 50
oh
and I
yes,
can still
oh,
do
she
this
has
and that.
got it. Girl still got it. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. That's the backlash that I got in my then, Facebook channel was like, you're such a hater. You shouldn't
Hmm.
be on women. She's owning it. She made me want to, go to the gym and eat salad. I'm like, way to have a very high opinion of yourself. So please tell me you understand my perspective on this.
I get it. It's like it's not teaching others to accept themselves, that's for sure.
And also, like, where is the bar besides the one that she's swinging from?
Right.
Where's the
Yeah.
bar as far as, no, I'm not going to do that? And while her daughter was on stage, at least, I mean, she was more clothed, let's say, because there was that whole thing of the garments on, garments off, and the excitement of the possible wardrobe failure, which
Right.
to me, this is a wardrobe failure. The like, the beaver strip
The strip.
right there in your face, like no choice, like not even for the children in the audience, of which there
Mm.
are many, because this is the freaking Super Bowl. It's a family show, isn't it?
I thought
And,
so.
and then I got to explain to my daughter that, you don't actually have to do that as like as a female superstar. You don't actually have to do that. What the?
Yeah.
So
That's actually one of the reasons why I kind of appreciate Taylor Swift as a pop star.
absolutely. I mean, no, I totally appreciate her
At
as a
least she like writes her own songs
person.
and plays her own guitar and
Yeah,
she
yeah.
does
Oh,
wear
yeah.
a leotard, but it's not like, the beaver strip.
Oh, wait, say that again because I was popping in my headphones and it
I
had
was gonna
something to do
say
with beaver.
she does wear the bedazzled leotard, but there's coverage. It's not, the beaver strip type. You
Not to split hairs, but
right? Right.
uh, yeah, I mean, no, I love her I don't know her. I'm not
Like
freaking
as a role
Travis
model for
Kelsey,
young
obviously.
girls, like solid.
Yeah, yeah, she's a role model. No, and you know what, as an artist, as a businesswoman, and as a person, like if you just hear what she says, she definitely has an opinion about this very topic that we're discussing, and she's probably more on our side, and but would never say it to not to J-Lo for sure, because that's the thing. J-Lo is kind of a reigning queen, and then it's like, oh, even reigning queens have to do this? Like,
Hmm.
really, we
Yeah,
don't
but let's
actually
be
have to
honest
do
though,
this.
J-Lo's voice is really not that good. She may be a reigning queen, but it's not because she's a good singer. So
Or it's because she writes her own music.
she does have to do all that stuff because as a musician, that's how she gets attention. It's not by virtue of her voice. It's a decent sounding voice, but it sounds thin and it sounds like you could break it in half. She's not
Which
a good
has its
singer.
own attraction appeal, I guess, because it's
It's
vulnerable or whatever.
yeah,
But you're right. I mean, because
it's yeah,
she came to fame because of her buttocks, which is,
yeah.
I mean, in all fairness, it's a beautiful buttocks. But
And
that
she is a
this,
very good dancer. Like she was a
yeah,
dancer,
she's an
you
incredible
know.
dancer. I guess, was that her start, or like
That was her
how
thing.
did
She was a
she
fly
break
girl
it? She was a fly girl.
on In Living Color.
I didn't even know that. No, that's like,
Yeah.
I guess I did. Maybe I forgot because, maybe I was just jealous because that was always my dream.
Well, that
to
was a
be
cool thing. That was like the epitome of cool back then.
oh, absolutely. The whole like all the Paula
The knee
Abdul stuff
pads.
and oh yeah, and Clutch the Pearls. Clutch
Yeah.
the Pearls. That was
Oh,
something else I wanted to talk about, like more on the feminist tip. But I also don't let me forget that I do want to raise the discussion about fans only or only fans. Isn't that it?
oh,
Only fans? I know.
OnlyFans.
Because
Yeah,
that's related to this, isn't it? It's like
kind of is. Yeah.
I mean, I'm a little bit miffed that I'm not getting support from so-called like women bills supporters groups or people. I
Hmm.
mentioned that in like a previous podcast, and I'm kind of like, uh, I guess I'm definitely salty about that. And also about why do you have to dress and be like that to get traction as a woman in the sports world? It's like the bar is so low, literally, that you've gotta, slither your way under it. And I'm not saying that these women are slithering or that they're snakes, but it's kind of like it's so confronting. It's like, is that the only pathway, to lean in with all of your goods to
Hmm.
get a following, and then we wonder why we're not listened to.
Yeah. Why we're not respected? Gee, wonder why.
Well, but let's put a pin in that for a second because I really wanted to talk about something that happened yesterday, and mostly I want to get some traction around a fellow Belgian. I hope that she's still with us. Let me see. Her name is Chantal An Ackerman, and it's like it rhymes. Chantal An Ackerman. She's from Brussels, but she lives in France right now. Go figure. And I must admit, and to my great shame, that I watched a movie of hers yesterday for the very first time. And I'm ashamed of myself because I gotta say, and maybe this will be just the end of the point. We can talk about other stuff, but um, she made this movie called Jeanne Dielman, 23 Quai du Commerce, 1080 Brussels. Okay, it was made in 1975. Wait, I'm going to also throw the Wikipedia page on here. This is her. This is she. This, Jean Dillman, 23 Quai du Commerce, 1080 Bruxelles. I'm just flexing a little bit because uh, all I can say is, if I had to give this a review, is that it is a paltry victory against the patriarchy that is epic in its ambition and exquisite in its execution.
Hmm.
And that's all I gotta say. You must watch this movie. It's 3 hours and 21 minutes long.
Okay.
And the only reason that I'm talking about it is because also in the denouement, and like the climax of the movie, I had a visceral reaction to what was happening, and my husband told me to be quiet. So of course we had an argument about that. We made up, but just while you're watching this movie, and I would love to watch it with you too, because it's so worth
I
it.
was just thinking, I'm so glad I live alone.
It is so, I mean, yeah, it's absolutely incredible. Now I want
Right.
to just watch everything she's ever made, and I hope that she's kept the feminist vibe throughout all of them because it's like I said, this was victorious and glorious. So
So,
yeah.
what like platform did you watch it on?
Let's plug Criterion.
Okay.
Criterion. Do you have a subscription to Criterion? Because
No.
they basically remake all, here, I will also plug Criterion because you know what? We're not just a sports show. Do that. Stop. Ugh. Oh my God. I totally clicked on that. Okay. Um, yeah, they do like they do actually, so they look, they have this whole
Oh.
segment this month that Greta Gerwig has what's the word, curated. So they
Mm-hmm.
do this like, and they remake um classic film in 4K, for example. So it's like your local film library online. So really obscure shit that you can't find. And yeah, I can't recommend them more highly, really.
I will check it out.
Yeah, you should. Wherever you stream your watching pleasure. So, okay, the rest of like what went down, but that's a whole nother, that's a side story. But anyway, we did resolve our disagreement. I did underscore how on point his behavior was, and he apologized. So so that's a good thing. But do you want to talk about the OnlyFans, or shall we talk about our precious bills? Because I'm going to tell you what I lined up. I did ask you, okay, so we covered rituals, right? Um, and but you didn't actually say exactly what your favorite Bills gear is. Like
Oh, well,
your
my new
which
favorite gear is the AFC East Champions hat that I got. You know,
from this year.
yeah, from this year. I
Okay.
sprang for the hat. I couldn't go for the whole package, but I got the hat.
Mm-hmm.
So,
The what did it say? Locked in.
it's a lock.
It's a lock. Yeah,
Yeah.
it's a lock.
Yeah.
Okay.
A
You
little bit of
know,
regret almost of not buying the shirt, but that's okay. I got the hat.
do you wear t-shirts a lot anyway? Like
Yeah.
you do? Because I don't. I ritually cannibalize them. Like I, cut the arms off and I wear them to be a little more discreet when I'm working out, which, really depends on the weather. I noticed yesterday the air quality was excellent and I had so much energy. Like I
Mm.
I did help move the treadmill out of the garage where it's been since July. And I actually just got on it and I ran a whole mile without stopping,
Wow.
just kind of like that. So I was like,
That's pretty
okay,
good.
yeah, I wanted to tell you about that because I was pretty proud of myself. Like, okay, wow. And you know how I broke my foot, right, in
Yeah.
September.
Yeah.
I kind of made a pact with myself that as part of the healing, I want to try to train for a marathon,
Mm-hmm.
which I know is crazy, but it's a bucket list thing. And I'm like,
Well, you can work
you
your way
know,
up to it. You start with
1
5,
mile.
and then you start with a mile, then a 5K, then a 10K, then a 10 mile, half
I
marathon,
know.
and then a full
I just
marathon.
want to, and but the thing is how to tackle that because you're also like yesterday I intentionally paced myself. And by the way, I was watching the series called American Nightmare. It's a Netflix
Oh,
thing.
I've seen that. Yes.
Did
I
you
like
actually watch it?
that.
Did you watch
I
it?
watched a couple episodes. I haven't finished it yet.
Oh, okay. It's only
Yeah.
three, unless that's a
No, wait,
wait a
maybe I
minute.
didn't finish
Is it
that.
only the current series? Hold on a second. Wait,
Gosh, my
what is it
memory is
telling
getting
me?
so bad.
No, I'm not sure. Wait, hold on. I honestly don't know. I don't know if it's a series. Like, I mean, if it's a show that has different, different series or different seasons, or it's on Netflix. And I don't, wait. It's true crime. So is
Yeah.
that,
I
Rosie,
love true crime.
yeah, you and my very best friend who
Yeah.
that's also her favorite stuff to watch. I mean, at this rate, I think women could freaking solve crimes, and I wish they would.
Oh
I
yeah.
wish I wish we would because that's one of the subtexts of this very story. And I'm not going to spoil any more than that. I don't want you to be seeing all my open windows, but whatever, open tabs. This story you should watch. You should watch it. I think that's also why my husband's reaction to the movie we watched together really like triggered me like powerfully because of this story also. So also warning you, but it's a happy ending,
Good
so
stuff.
to speak, or like, relatively speaking, as far as these things go. So, this is what I do when I'm not doing this. Because I'm like, I did need a break. So I didn't do one on Friday or yesterday. And I was like, oh, I needed to not, because it's a lot of like psychological investment, I would say, and also just the time commitment and matching agendas, as you know. So two recommendations. Okay. And then I'm gonna just peel off what I wanted to cover and then see what you're interested in. Okay.
Okay.
Or we can just do them one by one because we got rituals done, we got gear. Um, I just want to say that I do the usual like ritual thing or superstition stuff for sure. Like, oh, that thing actually, we won that game when I wore that, so I better wear it again, right? I do that kind of thing. And then, oh, we lost that game when I wore that, so I'm never wearing that again. But one thing I always do that I have to recommend because, and I know I've told you this before, because I just found out also that it's really good for you, is I take cold showers.
Oh yeah.
Because I'm like, if the boys can take ice baths, then I can take a cold shower. That's nothing. But
Ah,
the science around this, Rosie,
I
is
know, but it hurt.
no, I'm going to tell you, the science is it's only the first few seconds that matter. Doesn't that make a difference? So
No.
when you're about to get out of the shower, all you got to do is, okay, you step back, you turn it all the way on cold, you let it get cold, and then you stand in and you scream. You got to scream. You got to let because it's a key eye kind of thing. Like you scream,
Yeah,
and and you know what? I don't scream anymore.
really? You do it every
Yes.
day?
If I showered every day, I would say yes. But clearly, I mean, look at me. Clearly, I don't shower every day. But when I do, that's, you know what? That is the upside of middle age, is like,
Yeah.
you just don't have to, you're not pubescent.
Yeah, you're not
I mean, let's not even, that's
gross.
part of
Yeah.
our, we're talking health and beauty now, right? But yeah. So yeah, so I don't have to, but when I do, I mean, if I hesitate, sometimes I genuinely forget, like very rarely. But I mean, there's been maybe once, maybe twice, because I always think, oh, I got to do it for the bills. I really do. I got to do it. I got to keep this
Really?
going. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I genuinely do. I'm like, if they can do this, if they can do worse than this, I can do this because it's also beneficial and it's so easy to do. So what I wanted to also share was the you know apparently, of course, my husband is telling me this when I'm like, evangelizing for this stuff. Women's like, oh, my husband is like, I just said that because they have the same first name. Oh,
Yeah.
Wim Hof and which is Vim. It's not whim like Americans say the W. It's Vim. It's very small. And you know what? Mommy nailed it. Our mother nailed it when he said it's like this. She was like, "Oh, Vim." We were like, Wow. But Wim Hof, I shared this with my Wim the other day because one of the things is, let me see if he can, maybe it's in this section, is like they're actually doing research on this. And his position is anyone can take a cold shower or an ice bath. Like there's no, okay, you need a tub and you need the ice. But I'm like a cold shower, literally anyone can do that. And by the way, lots of people around the world only take cold showers because it's the only kind of water they have if they're fortunate enough to have water. So let's relativize, but as usual, yours truly. Um, what just happened?
I didn't notice anything.
I'm hearing some very romantic R&B in my headset right now,
Um,
and I can't shut it off. Are we being sabotaged?
I think you're being sabotaged.
I'm going to stop the share, and I'm going to take out one headphone. This is so,
Somebody's hijacked your headphones.
it was my iMusic just launching into some random
Oh, it was you
something.
hijacking your own headphones.
Although
You hacked yourself.
I don't know how, better me than someone else, I guess,
Yeah,
as far as
find
that's
your own
concerned.
vulnerabilities.
Very vulnerable to old school R&B. That is a fact. Um, so this thing though, stronger immune system. So my husband mentions that people have died doing this, which I can see, people running out into the Arctic and doing God knows what, right? Because, that's one of his things is he takes people to very cold places and makes them run around virtually naked. But it's not without some serious prep. But, like, do you see this way? Look at this image. I also noticed how many guys it is. So is it like another fanboy type of thing? Yeah, kind of. But I'm going to say I've been following him since his big fandom started. And there is one woman here. But here's the thing.
She's
They
probably just
study,
there for the picture.
yeah, probably.
They always put
Yeah,
one in the picture, but they're never there in real life. It's the same thing in martial arts.
that you can talk to with the real personal experience. Do you want to share with the viewers what you did last week, or was it the week before?
Nah.
Come on. It's so awesome.
Mm.
Come
I
on.
just been coaching some amazing kids and teens in Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu. They've been training really hard and competing really well in the local tournaments, winning bunches of medals. So they're on their way.
How many girls in those classes?
There's a good amount of girls. The kids' classes are a lot more equal than the adults' classes for sure. You know, um, oh, don't die.
No, no, it's just water.
Okay.
Do you think it's normal that there's more girls to begin with, and then they just kind of like, seep out?
Mm, I wouldn't
Or
say so much that they even really seep out. Like the ones that we've had in our academy who started as young kids, a lot of them have stayed with the program for a long time into their teenage years, into young adulthood. Um, but but I mean like they do like, it's not that they quit, it's just that they like move away, they go to college, they leave and go do other things.
also they don't have a posse, let's be honest. Look at you. You're like a front runner. I mean, if you look left and right, how many other women are at your level in your community?
There are few. There are several, but they are few and far between.
Vis-a-vis the number of men.
compared to the number of men. But when you look at particularly though, like who is working with the kids more, it tends to be more women,
Of
of
course, because
course.
we're like, oh, I'm so motivated to do this. And
Yeah.
if you look in any male-dominated fields, which this also is, obviously, kind of two of the really important factors to increase that gender representation or, better representation among the genders is that having the women, I mean, if we're talking specifically about girls and women, is to have the women role models, obviously.
Hmm.
And that phenomenon of women giving back, like it helps to make it sustainable for everyone. Like
Yeah,
you can really make that explicit for women to feel the impact of getting and keeping girls in that area helps our loyalty. Like, oh, I got to keep doing
exactly.
this then, because it's a hard row to hoe when you're like, where's my posse, right?
Right, exactly. You know,
But if you start to get that,
that's why I do it with that's why I like working with the kids and teens. Because it's my way to give back and be there and show them like, hey, look, you can be a black belt one day if you keep training.
it's also, it speaks volumes, like silent volumes to girls that you specifically, that the person doing this is a woman.
Mm-hmm.
We know about that, right? We don't even need to say it. It's so real and it's so important. But also, like I'm saying, in the other direction for you, well, that's
Yeah.
been shown, like in, women in leadership, where we have just women in leadership across the board as a challenge, that it's good for the women in leadership to be able to give back. Then they feel like the organization they're with cares about the future
Cares
pipeline
about me. Mm-hmm.
and cares about you. Yeah.
Yep.
Thinks what's important to you is
Exactly.
important to them as well. Yeah. It's
Exactly.
important for your loyalty to the organization
Right.
too.
It's a self-reinforcing kind of cycle.
It really is. And it's
My dog
like,
is getting into something. Phoebe, Phoebe, get out of there.
what's
Sorry.
not to love? Hi,
There's like
Phoebe
a
girl.
sandwich wrapper that she's eating. Good
Oh,
girl. Leave
whoops.
it alone. Okay. All right.
Come in
She's
my
like,
visit, Phoebe.
yeah, she will.
You will. Cool. Yeah, so I just wanted to also, give you props for doing that because you really
Oh,
deserve
thanks.
it. And the fact that you're doing that, it is a best practice, which applies to what we're talking about with the NFL. And
Hmm.
I have to backtrack because I was calling it the Rodney rule, but it's the Rooney rule, about the interviewing. So I read an article in the Washington Post today about this. So it's making headlines if the Washington Post is covering the NFL. Of course, it was an editorial. Of course, it was by a guy.
Hmm.
And in it, I found out who the head of diversity and inclusion is for the NFL is a guy. Surprise. His name is Bean, and I'm wondering, like, is he a relative of Brandon Bean? Because that would only make
Wouldn't be
sense in a way.
surprised.
Would not be surprising. And they mentioned that it's the Rooney Rule and that it also includes gender. So, yeah, they're supposed to interview at least two people of color and of another and women, I think is in the terms of the Rooney Rule. And I'm like, yo, somebody tell us when they interview a woman for one of these jobs, because it'll be a freaking headline, right?
Yeah, seriously.
And just how, like, do you even see a pathway for that happening? Like, can we,
Like,
because,
no, no. Like, I don't actually. Like, it's sad, but I don't.
right? And that's why, we talk about pipeline. And in fact, in STEM, we talk about the leaky pipeline, which you also know about as a
Oh,
woman in
yeah.
technology.
Yep.
So jujitsu is the same, technology is the same, and we talk about the leaky
Yes.
pipeline. So the thing that you just illustrated with, in jujitsu, where they fall. The thing is, the moving and those phenomena are not new, and they're also not unique to girls, is the thing. So boys, their families move, they go off to college, whatever. Why do they stick with it when girls don't, though? Right? That's the
Mhm.
big question. And it's the same thing for in those male-dominated sectors, but it's all sectors, all leadership. Why, the men keep showing up, but the women become marginalized, and how and why. And one of the big points is a lack of community, because you don't have, it's a tough row to hoe. Like, you've got to be like a trailblazer, basically, which you are, to accomplish what you've done. Being a black belt in jujitsu now, you've got to be a trailblazer as a woman. But it's like, why
Mhm.
do I have to be a freaking trailblazer at like
Yeah,
everything I do?
just to enjoy a sport. I shouldn't have to be a pioneer type person or to have a career, to have a lucrative career in technology. You shouldn't have to be willing to put up with a lot of crap that, unnecessary stuff that like so-called trailblazers or whatever have to deal with. Because
Well,
that's
I
really what
mean,
it is. That's
yeah. And even just talking about that whole, like just doing this, for example, right? It's not only like in the, in as you advance in the pipeline, right? In theory, as you like grow in influence and whatever and responsibility. But it's not only that, it's just to get in the pipeline, right? It's like I'm saying about
oh yeah.
you need doe eyes and cleavage to do what we're doing here,
Mm-hmm.
right? So sometimes it's just the entry point, even. You don't, and what's the entry point for women in the NFL? What the hell is it exactly? I mean, I don't
Yeah.
see it. Do you think flag football is a
That's what I
reasonable
was
entry point?
that's what I was just thinking. I don't know that much about flag football, but it seems like that's the closest possible option.
What do you think that coaching has like transferable skills? Like, could you, because that's the case that's made, of course, is no one listens, but um, that you hire based on talent, and then you train to, for those things that can be learned,
Yeah.
right? So is like, what are those transversal skills in coaching? And then can you train on the X's and O's? Because if you look at like men's trajectories through the NFL, yeah,
Hmm.
sure, some of them first work on the O line, then they work on the D line, then they might work in special teams. There's so their pathways are not like, it's not like you're super specialized. I mean, you might be, but in order to get to that head coaching role, you've got to do a bit of everything, which to
Yeah.
me, if you translate that to a normal company, right? It's like working in different functional areas, maybe, or working in different product areas. I manage that product, then I manage that product. I don't know. And my former bosses, my Japanese bosses, they had a serious dogma to which they stuck religiously, which was, regardless of the industry, you need 6 months to become an expert.
Hmm.
That's it. Like, you don't need, and this is like importing and exporting, right? So what you want to do is buy low and sell high. So you've
Hmm.
got to you've got to identify the geographies, you've got to identify the players, you've got to know the prices, you've got to know what's influencing all that stuff, right?
Uh-huh.
But they thought like religiously, and that's why, back in the day, they would just cycle Japanese middle managers around the world, because they wanted to maintain the chokehold on the hierarchy. Okay, that's, you know, and
Wow.
screw you if you're not Japanese, or definitely if you're not a male. Two big
Right.
strikes against me. Um, but they always, they were dogmatic about that. Like, the subject area was not the critical consideration. So they were cultivating generalists, basically. And then, and generalist managers. So, kind of what does a head coach accept, right? Like delegating critical roles of authority, because so those are the people. I'm managing them who are managing the D line or the O line, the safeties, and even like another layer of granularity below that, right? The quarterbacks,
Right.
the linebackers, the whatever those, I don't even know. Do you have any idea of what like
There's like specific coaches for everything.
it's crazy, right? And then not, I mean, that's like that video you sent me the other day or that you tagged me on, right? The one of you
Oh
have
yeah, about
people
the
that put
equipment
your
team.
pads on. The equipment team, exactly. The equipment team. So they're almost like they're cross-cutting even, right? Or maybe they're even specialized for, certain, or there's some people in the team that are specialized for certain players or whatever, right? Or physical therapy. So that's also going to be more cross-cutting, but maybe specialized by player or something. Anyhow, it's really interesting. Like if you want to pick this apart and figure out how we will get women into the hierarchy, I mean, we have to understand it. I would guess also like I would guess in physical like therapy, right? That might be an entry point.
Yeah.
But I've never heard a story of a coach coming up from that direction, right?
Hmm.
I don't really know.
Oh, I mean, not into like unless it's like strength and conditioning or something like that, but
Yeah, strength and conditioning. I guess that would be it. I don't know. I think we need to unpack this though. Okay, so I was just the thing about the cold showers is it does actually release cannabinoids into your body, which
all right.
cannabis what are they that's what it's called, right? It strengthens
Cannabinoids.
okay. It strengthens your immune response.
I've heard lots of good things about cold showers. I've known for a very long time that it's an excellent thing to do. I just don't want to do them.
But then the bills are gonna lose. Just
Oh,
kidding.
well, all right,
I
now you
know.
got me.
Yeah, I know. Only do it if you like,
No,
think it's
it's
good for
probably a
you.
good idea. All my aches and pains.
Yeah, it reduces swelling. Fact,
Yeah,
it
I've got
lowers like
tons of inflammation all through my body and all lots of soft tissue stuff going on.
I also
Oh,
have preached about turmeric for your
I
curcuma or
take
whatever you call
that.
it.
I take
Okay.
turmeric and ginger, fish oil.
Okay. So
Yeah,
these are all
all
good
that.
things. Yeah, which I also want to get Abby on here about, but she's gonna avoid me because she doesn't, follow the bills. So our other sister, because it is Bill's sisters. Of course, we are two
Yes.
sisters, so that's a
We're
start.
sisters. Yeah.
I know that makes it plural. Um, how about this
Uh-oh.
infuriates me, but not to shade the discussion, but how about Kansas City as the underdogs in the Super Bowl?
Oh, I watched your other episode about this. And yeah, I want to puke. Like I do not even want to watch the Super Bowl.
All right,
Except
what
wait,
are we gonna do?
who is the halftime artist? Who is the halftime? I forget.
Usher.
Oh, yeah, that's right, Usher. All right, I don't care. I'm not watching it.
Shade for Usher right there. I mean, I, it's part of I know why the thing launched was because of my freaking headphones. You know how if you touch your
If you tap
earphones a
it,
certain
oh,
way,
you're like, play my
you
music,
launch.
play my music.
Yeah, dude. I mean, I've shut that off so many times because I hate it. This is like because as I've also ranted about, they don't fit in my ear because Apple can't be bothered to design earphones that fit in women's ears. They can't be
Yeah.
bothered. So I've spent money that I shouldn't, on ear plugs that would fit better on the ends there. It doesn't help.
Mm-mm. I don't
So
like anything that goes in my ears. I got the Bose.
the on ear thing.
Yeah.
Uh-huh. You can
With
also
the
do the
active noise
around ear.
canceling
Oh, that's like a
on an airplane,
dream.
it's the best.
Oh, those are so nice. Those
Yeah.
are really nice. Those
Yeah.
are worth the
They were a
investment.
little bit expensive, but I'm not sure if
Yeah.
they have a microphone on them. That's why I'm not using them for this, because I don't think there's a mic for
Well, if
talking.
you want to start flexing, I have some really nice old school
Ooh.
headphones from these are oh yeah, these are Sennheiser. These are like these are the ones that they wear on the headlines. Headlines? Sidelines. It's like the ones they wear on the sidelines,
You
but
gotta
they're
wear those from now on.
but it doesn't have a mic. So that's the
Oh,
problem. It
that's not
doesn't
what
have
that
a
thing is.
mic. No, no, no. That's
Oh,
just to adjust the ear, which is and these are pretty old. Like
mm.
they're the original models before they became all trendy. Um, they're kind of a nice DJ headset.
All right,
I
so
also have a
you pissed
proper
me
mic,
off
so
now. I gotta say this. Kansas City
I know.
can never be an underdog of anything
No,
because
especially
they're
because they have
given every advantage by the NFL. Patrick Mahomes himself personally, as a person, has been groomed for this his entire life, like born into it. And that's just not the underdog story. It's
On
just
that
not.
note, did you see that his father got pulled over for DUI again? Apparently, this is the third
No.
time in
How
Texas.
many times?
Third.
Third time. Don't they take your license away? What
I
state is
mean,
he in?
Texas. Well, that's where he was
Oh,
pulled over. I don't know where he is, but it's like,
oh wow.
I don't, alcoholism is a thing, but
That
don't get
is,
behind the fucking
yeah.
wheel, right?
Yeah,
Don't
don't
get
drink and
behind the
drive,
fucking
people.
wheel. Yeah. And his take on sitting in the booth with with Taylor and the wife and co was like, no, I don't want, which I thought was really funny. Well, okay,
Yeah, I like that. That's
that's
funny.
the chatter. Who knows how much of this is true, but you can't
Right.
say that someone has been arrested for DUI unless it's true. So, but
Yeah.
but that doesn't detract from, I mean, for me hearing this, oh, Kansas City is an underdog is so much like when my son wanted to switch schools in Belgium and I had to fight with his father because his father was or he was going from middle school to high school or something roughly the equivalent in the US. And his father was insisting that he go to this elitist kind of shitty school where he would get kind of demoralized into whatever, losing self-confidence. Um, he wanted to go to a different school with his friends, but his dad insisted, and his dad is a lawyer. And so we had to fight about this in court. And the kid went and spoke directly to the judge to say what he thought, because that's something I think decent enough of the Belgian judicial system that they wanted to hear from the kid at the age of 12. And the report from the judge was it started with something like, he's just a kid and he's kind of, um, you know, lashing out against authority right now and especially against his dad. And I was like, red flag.
Yeah.
So they couched you know, all of my son's input in those terms so that later when they slammed us with the fact that he was going to have to go to the school that the father insisted on, they had already laid the groundwork for that. So why is this the same as saying Kansas City is an underdog? Like to me, it's this whole narrative, like I see them making the making of the story of Kansas City's great comeback in the 2023 season, you know?
Nah.
And it's almost like the shitty playing that they did was so bad. I'm like, did they like, is this all canned? Like I mean, Kelsey could not catch the fucking ball for the last, 4 or 5 games of the regular season, and certainly the regular season games against the Bills. Like we pretty much
Mm-hmm.
shut him down. And then in the playoffs, he's like freaking,
Yeah,
Spider-Man. He's like all
right.
over the
Yeah,
place
against
and
the
doing,
Bills and against the Ravens. Come
yes.
on.
When he was wide open for that touchdown with the heart, I was like, who fucking scripted that? I mean, this is where really it seems like you can't write stuff better than this, you know? And then, oh, now they're the underdogs going into the Super Bowl. Just when they win it per the script, it's going to make it that much better of a comeback story. And really, are they making the movie? And are they gonna sell the rights? Because this is like the NFL has just become such a marketing machine, like really the very best that to me is almost like it approaches like Cambridge Analytica or whatever they're called, Cambridge Analytics. It's like we know what, because I was just recalling, Rosie, before I went to Europe, the NFL had a serious, not reputation problem, but traction problem. They were the least professional, I mean, sorry, the least popular of the professional sports leagues in the US, the absolute bottom. And,
Hmm.
being a passionate fan since then, I was like, why? Why is it like that? So I would read, and part of what the discussion was is that wearing a helmet makes it so impersonal. Like,
Mm.
because you can really get like you can be a fan of LeBron, or when you see them on the basketball court. So it was really the NBA that was the huge like market
Yeah,
dominating viewership, all that. We're talking 20 years ago.
yeah.
Um, And so people were trying to pick apart why is the NFL so much less popular? I mean, popular, yes, but but the NBA was magnitudes more watched on TV and in the stadiums. And now the story is the opposite. The NBA cannot get the same traction that the NFL has.
Mm-hmm. Because they have too many games.
They also have too many games. There's
Yeah.
that as well. And but the storyline back then was the NFL didn't have enough games,
Mm-hmm.
to make it like a common that is always going on, always going. So it's kind of a double-edged sword.
Yeah.
But like, what do you think is contributing to this about face? Like, what do you think the factors are that have made it so much more popular? And you can't say the Swifties because that one's
No, because that's too
it's really
recent.
exactly. But it's
No, I
kind
mean, I think
of
it's like the big quarterbacks, the stories of the big quarterbacks over the years.
hmm
I mean, I hate to say it, but Tom Brady, like,
hmm.
the legacy quarterbacks, like people like Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, um,
You think
and
they're responsible for bringing more viewers
yeah,
to of making the NFL more accessible, like
right,
putting a
because they make
face.
it more personal. They're
Yeah,
like, because they're
they
the
put a face on it.
they put a face on exactly. The quarterbacks are your entry point into like getting to know the team and all the other players on the team. Um,
And
and
how is that also because he married Giselle Bündchen or
I
something like
think
that? Because I'm
yes.
also thinking, like we know the names of the quarterbacks of that era, like the pre-Brady era. Um, but there had to be kind of that crossover moment that brought Hollywood or brought supermodels or that visibility, which yeah, the whole Taylor Swift thing is just another magnitude
Another level of that.
of that kind of pattern,
Yeah,
right? Yeah.
definitely bringing the supermodel aspect into it.
And also the like I think Gabriella and I were talking about the why do I want to say Birkenstocks. What's her name? Oh, the soccer player, Victoria Beckham. Why do I come up
Oh,
with
yeah.
Birkenstocks? Beckham.
She's like the opposite of
I know it's the name. It's Beckham. Beckham and Birkenstock somehow are in the same. There's also Bickenbergs, which is I think it's a Belgian fashion line. So I get, it's like some kind of loose wire. But I guess someone had to say these celebrity connections bring viewers to the NFL. So we've
Mm-hmm.
got to like consciously, right, explicitly pursue
Like,
those
yeah, cultivate them.
opportunities,
But
cultivate
even
them.
some of the other ones that, well, I don't know if it's so much of a celebrity, but I mean, Simone Biles is married to someone on the Green Bay Packers, and no one
I know.
seems to give a shit about that.
I was going to mention that too.
Even like Haley Steinfeld and Josh Allen's romance, no one talks about that.
Hi, Phoebe girl. There's another Bill's sister. She's like, what is going on here? Why are
Photo
you
bombing.
taking my mommy? Why are you taking? I
Yeah.
was also thinking, of course, related to this. I mean, I wonder what you think about fantasy football, right? Because
I'm not big into it.
you're not into fantasy football. I
No.
mean, me neither, but I'm thinking maybe we should just check it out just
I
for the
think maybe
lull,
next season,
like,
yeah, I should like get into it.
yeah, yeah.
Because a lot
Also,
of my
just
friends
to,
talk to me about their fantasy teams, and I'm like, I don't know what you're talking about.
well, I mean, it's basically because, you know, our brother and I did this for the Tour de France. We assembled our own fantasy tour teams,
Mhm.
and it
But
just
see,
made
my
us.
fantasy team is just the Bills.
I know.
So, I
It's
mean,
like,
I don't need to play fantasy football because I just follow the Bills in real life. And there you
yeah,
go.
I know. I'm totally on board
So
with
to me,
that.
it's like kind of it's stupid.
Yeah, I know. I totally agree with that. It's like, okay, you're gonna pick some. Oh no, you're gonna be forced to because my
Because you
husband
can't pick
got
all of the
in.
players that you like. You have to get who's left over.
Exactly. So if you get in the league, it's like these players are thrust upon you, and then the team that so you can pick your own defensive line, but it has to be all the same team, and then you can pick the Bills. So it's like you've got all the Bills defenders and some random other team that's thrust upon you, and that gets you excited. And then you
No.
can bench some, and if they get injured, you can. So yeah, my husband did this last year because people at work were doing it, which is a common thing.
Yeah.
And that's actually the root of my question is, don't you also think that fantasy football has brought more viewership?
Probably, yeah, because now people are watching games they otherwise wouldn't care about.
Yeah,
And
because of that
they're
one
following
player.
teams that they wouldn't necessarily be following.
And it brings that face element, right? That
Yeah.
personal element. Because, what else explains how all these talking heads out there know so much about every team? Because it's like,
I am
really,
astounded
do you
by it every
study
time.
all of the rosters? No, we've been
Heck
playing
no.
fantasy football
No.
for forever. So therefore, all those obscure players that, frankly, as a Bills fan, I don't really care about. No, I'm not saying that. I'm not saying that either, but so I think so that's one thing that I think is a pretty good argument because it makes it very personal. It drives viewership of games that you wouldn't necessarily watch otherwise, right? Outside of your favorite team, maybe.
Hmm.
And I'm also thinking gambling
Oh,
because
for sure, gambling.
yeah, people will bet on the Super Bowl just to bet on the Super Bowl, right? Just,
Mm.
you know,
Yeah, well, they don't even care who really wins and who loses. They just want to bet.
I was gonna say that's the other thing about addiction is it's like colorblind as far as is it the Eagles, is it Kansas City, who knows, who cares? I want to bet, I need to bet because I'm addicted to gambling. So that is a big factor not to discount. And then of course, yeah, Taylor Swift. So I mean, not the thing is, it's not Taylor Swift, it's just, right, it's not her personally. And I was asked to channel my so I'm not going to promote these podcasts in certain channels anymore because I was encouraged to promote it in the Taylor Swift channel when I happened to have mentioned her in one of these shows and put it as when I put Traylor as the celebrity name,
Mm-hmm.
which don't you think that's funny?
Yeah, I saw that when you put that.
I think that's funny. And no one else has said that?
Someone must have.
Someone must have, but why isn't it like commonplace so we don't call them Trailer? What are Trailer doing today?
Come
Oh, something else I wanted
on,
to share with
Phoebe.
you.
Phoebe
She's,
Phoebe
she's
says
just an
my time is
attention
almost
hog.
up.
Okay, wait, okay,
She's gonna shut down my computer soon.
one more thing and then then we'll hang up. Um, I think I put it on here. I want to show you. I'm going on my Twitter feed. And okay, first of all, there was this, which I thought was really
Ooh.
interesting, but it's like, yeah,
Yeah, that's not right. That doesn't look quite right. I like the intent, but it
this was
didn't
my
come out
comment.
right. If you don't mind the pun, it didn't come out right.
Ah, definitely not because it messed up our logo. And see my
Oh,
comment, I did not see
what
this,
did you
but
say?
now I wrote, I did not see this, but now it's impossible to unsee. So yeah,
Yeah,
thank you. Thank you very much for
yeah.
that.
Oh my
And
gosh.
wait, I'm sharing other people's. Oh yeah, I think it was this thing I wanted to share is our one and only. So what is he busy doing in the off season?
Golfing. I saw your bit about golf, by the way. I will golf with you. I've been golfing once. I loved it. I had a great time. I'm not very good, but it was very fun. And it all depends on like who you go with because it's more of a social activity than like I mean, it is a physical
Sporting.
challenge. It is a physical challenge too,
Mhm.
but you know, a lot of how much fun you're gonna have is depending on who you're out there on the green with.
Oh, well,
But
I also it's really expensive, so that's kind of what makes it elitist in a way,
expensive.
right?
It is very elitist, yeah.
Tell me, could you hear the audio when I played that back? Because
No, I
I
couldn't hear the
might have been a
audio.
Zoom setting.
No, I couldn't hear it.
Yeah, well, you should go watch it because
Okay.
basically, for he keeps saying that he's not doing the Pro Bowl because he's golfing,
Yeah.
which I
I think
love.
that's great. He needs to do that.
Yeah, totally. It's
I
so
mean,
yeah,
what's the Pro
it's
Bowl? What do you get out of the Pro Bowl anyway?
oh, we should have watched it because Steph was playing and I was gonna try
I
and
watched
just
about
make
five
a good.
minutes of it and then I turned it off. It just was not that. I
Is
wasn't
he,
into
but did
it.
he actually start?
I didn't see him playing, but
Mm.
like I said, I was only watching like 5 minutes of it.
Uh-huh. Well, we can go and check because I was just like, my only hope was that he could have redeemed himself a bit, just also for himself, that he felt better about the season and all that. Because that's the stuff we worry about.
Yeah.
We worry about their mental state more than
Yeah.
anything.
I mean, we care.
Yeah, like what do you think about that whole stuff going on?
He's a tough cookie. I know if he's feeling down about losing, he'll find a way to, get back up again. He's a competitor. Competitors don't like to lose, but they also don't let one loss get them down and stop
It's
them
just the
from
end of the season
pushing.
and things are all up in the air, and people are always calling for his resignation, I guess is the wrong word, but I just
Yeah.
wanted to say that in that video clip that I couldn't get you the audio for, he actually says, I hope not to be here next year.
Oh, yeah. He's already planning. He's already training his mind for
Yeah.
the next season. That's good.
And props to
That's what
the
we got to
Bills
do.
backers of Tampa who say Super Bowl incoming. So yeah,
Yes.
he's also foreshadowing, just like making
Yeah.
Kansas City the underdog is foreshadowing. I mean, what are
How
the
is
betting
the
sites looking like right now? Like everybody is freaking betting on Kansas City because of the Taylor Swift factor, right? Who would
I
vote
haven't
who?
looked, but I would assume so.
I mean, it almost makes me want to bet because the odds are against Kansas City, where we all know that Kansas City is actually going to win because of the Taylor Swift factor. Nothing against Taylor Swift. It has nothing to do with
No, it's the
her,
NFL.
except, well, what it has to do with her is that she's an amazing, outstanding, and dearly beloved person, which is so awesome. Right. And it's just the NFL trying to capitalize on
The
that in
NFL
such,
manipulating. Yeah, that's
yeah,
what it
it's and
really
it's in
is.
such an egregious, like overt
It's
way. Like they're not even,
disgusting. Yeah, it's
it
like
is
let a
disgusting.
sport be a sport.
Well, I don't know. It's a business though. It's a fact. And
It is
at
a
the bottom,
business.
at the end of the day, it is a business and this drives business. And so, there you go. And why not benefit ourselves by winning the over under or whatever the hell it's gonna. No, so the over under you is still gonna be whatever it is.
Yeah.
But to bet against the 49ers in the Super Bowl, would you bet against the 49ers in the Super Bowl? In this Super
I
Bowl?
don't know. I mean, I don't gamble. I've never gambled.
Root. I mean, okay, all right. Are you never gambled? Yeah, okay. Me neither.
Um,
We can have a
I
gentlewoman's.
am rooting for the 49ers for sure.
So am I, girl.
For sure. Do
If
I
you
think
had
they're
a
actually going to win? Probably not.
C above, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's exactly it. C above. I mean, we could, I would say, like, we could bet a gentlewoman's bet, but we're not going to bet against each other because we're both going to bet for Kansas City.
Right. Yeah. And it's depressing. It's depressing to
It
bet
is.
that a team that you
It's
don't like is going to win.
it's
I don't,
so deflating. That's the whole
yeah.
thing. That's
It
what I
hurts my soul to do that.
And
Can't.
that's my question for the
I feel
NFL.
icky.
I'm like, do they really, I mean, because it's so flagrant, right? Do they really not care about us that much? Do
Do
they
they
really
really think
not
we're that
care?
stupid? To
No,
think that
they
the Ravens would really just like roll
over
over
and die.
for
Yeah,
the Kansas City Chiefs?
without a
I mean,
few
come on.
well-placed penalties or, whatever. But I
Yeah.
mean, here's the thing, or yeah, or just being complicit to um, but basically this is like all of the teams and all of their fans in the whole NFL, so 31 other teams
Against
who
Kansas
who
City.
the NFL is gambling against.
Yep.
Like we think the Swifty factor is more important than your sad, pathetic little feelings,
Yep. That's what they think.
right?
Yeah.
That's
They
what
see that
they're,
Eras Tour money. They want that money.
yeah, and so it's flagrant. It's demeaning. It's like you said, it makes you feel dirty, right?
Yeah.
Because it's also that they know. I mean, it's to me, it's so
They know
patriarchy.
that we won't go anywhere. So it's abusive, really.
It's like, you know, having us by the short hairs. And on that note,
Hey.
we wrap it up. We come back to where we started from with the beaver shot of J-Lo halftime show
Right. Back to
and
Beaver.
and the beg and begging, and the probing question, will Usher show his snatch during this year's
Or a
Super
nipple.
Bowl halftime show? Or a nipple? Will he have a wardrobe failure? Super Bowl 58. That will be the only reason we would watch it. Am I right? Even then,
I'm like,
even then, it's not compelling enough.
eh, not watching it.
So what are you going to do? What are we going to do instead?
Oh, that's a good question. We should maybe like plan something alternative activity.
All right, I'll hold you to that. You think of something, and my
Like,
husband's
what's a
talking
good
about.
like Buffalo classic movie we could watch or something?
Apparently, there's this unbelievable movie, which you probably can't even get online yet because I think it's only showing in theaters in upstate and Western New York at the moment,
Oh,
and you probably can't even find it online.
probably not.
I mean, I would watch The Big Lebowski or just about anything, but there must be some. Do we want to even watch anything that's like remotely football related?
I don't know. Maybe not.
Let's give it some
Let's think
thought.
about that. We'll
Yeah,
figure something out.
I'm getting down just thinking about it.
Yeah.
Let's end it there. Okay. I love you, my
All right. Love you.
sister
Go
and baby,
Bills.
baby niece. Go Bills, sisters.
Go Bills,
Go
sister.
Bills.